Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Daily Cannon Tactics Board. Stephen Bradley here. Remember me? It's only been a month with the latest edition of the Daily Cannon Tactics Board, bringing you the tactical tweaks and quirks that came from Arsenal's 1-0 win at Molineux on Thursday night. Apologies for the lack of video in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Didn't get one out for Burnley. Truthful answer is, I wasn't well. I'm okay now. Couple of mental health issues, to be perfectly honest with you. I have an anxiety disorder and I wasn't in the right frame of mind to record videos. It's as simple as that. I'm not too bad now. The hair got cut. I've joined the gym. I'm trying to get the head back into a place where I can work and just go about, normal life. Like I said, I'm fine. I'm saying this now just because it shouldn't be taboo to talk about these things. I wasn't well for a couple of weeks. That's just what was wrong. So yeah, if in the comments any of you are dealing with issues like that, feel free to talk about it. We're not going to do anything about issues like mine or issues like anyone else's by just keeping them to ourselves. So yeah, that's why there was no Burnley video. That's why there was no videos in between. I had a couple of plans of doing transfer reviews, seeing what squad was, how our squad was dealing, but just that the head wasn't there. It's as simple as that. And even now, it's taken me 2 days to get this out. So yeah, it's slowly coming back. Brentford next Saturday, there'll be a video after that. I'm going to do my best to keep going, and it's thanks to the support that a lot of you have shown over the last years, the enjoyment that you've shown for these videos, the interest that you've shown, that I want to keep this going. So thanks. Frankly, thanks to every one of you that has, joined the channel and viewed the channel over the last year and has shown their appreciation of the videos that come out. So thanks. And yeah, moving on to the game. Arsenal did a Mourinho, kind of. Not that they deliberately set out to defend, because they didn't, but they nullified Wolves superbly. They set out with a plan, their normal attacking plan, but defensively they were excellent, because Wolves are really good at getting one good chance a game. They're really good at setting up so that you can't pass through them, you can't pass around them, and then they get one really good counter-attack, they score and they win 1-0. They are George Graham's Arsenal of the 80s and 90s. They are 1-0 to the Wolves. And when Arsenal lined up, when the team was picked, I immediately thought it was going to be, Odegaard at 10, Lacazette pushed up a bit, and it was going to be the normal 4-2-3-1 that we usually see. But it wasn't. It was something that we've seen a couple of times before. It's the Man City model of this, of one solitary DM and two midfielders who act as playmakers, and then three forwards, basically. And they all do running, and they all interchange positions, and they make sure that the defence never gets a rest. But that doesn't really work against a 5, because with all the running around, Xhaka is not the most mobile, as we know, and neither is Lacazette. What happens is the Wolves' back 5 just does this. Trincao goes there, Podence goes there, then Donker and Neves just sit back, and Jimenez just keeps the centre-backs happy. And you end up with a position like this, where it's like you've got 3 people trying basically to find through balls through a wall of 9, through two walls, and it doesn't work. So what Arsenal did was clever. What they did was they saw that Wolves like to funnel attacks when they're defending. They like to push people into the middle. They like to keep it nice and narrow. They like to do this and force play inside, where their numbers are, where they've got an advantage, where they can close down and then counterattack. So what Arsenal did was Arsenal decided to completely ignore the middle of the pitch and not pass the ball there at all. Rendering Cody useless. So Lacazette even there, he never comes forward. He always goes back. An unintentional arrow, but pertinent, because Lacazette would come so deep for the ball that it gave Cody a decision. Does he just sit there? New mouse, by the way. Does Cody sit there, or does he follow him? and completely break the structure. And Cody is a man that has been playing in the back three for years. He is a back three specialist. He's often been picked in England squads because of his experience playing in the back three. So he said, "Nah, I'm going to sit back." And as a result, with with Semedo kind of narrow, Marcel kind of narrow, Martinelli ended up here, and Saka ended up here, with Cedric here, Tierney here, Lacazette here, Xhaka here, and Odegaard here. And we ended up with a heat map. Faithful return with the heat map after a month, thank God, of this, where, as you can see, Arsenal completely ignored the centre of the park. They're like, no, we're not going to ram the ball down your throats again and again and again. We're not going to play down your strengths. We are going to try and play down the wings and try and beat the right back and beat the left back. And then basically, once Martinelli gets past there or Saka gets past there, bomb, bomb, bomb. That's the plan. And occasionally, on the left, Tierney would help with Martinelli and Cedric would help with Marcel. But that was it. You left Cody, Neves and Dendoncker basically like statues in the middle of the park. You said, these lads are going to be useless. And if they do try and cover, then Partey has all the freedom of Molineux to do what he wants. Because Jimenez is not going to move, because his job is to make sure that just to occupy the centre backs just in case they get a counter. Like, it's little tweaks like this which are going to help Arsenal as they go along, because if they were playing like this, they wouldn't have been able to do that, because Odegaard would be here, and then suddenly Neves and Dendoncker would have went like this, and now all Arsenal have basically is long ball here and long ball here. And with all the best will in the world, it's still going to be 2-on-1 every time, and you're asking your wingers to do a lot. What Arsenal did here was, because Odegaard went so far wide, again, we look just at Odegaard's heat map. Like, him and Saka were basically on each other's toes. Because they were so wide, with Cedric just behind, that meant the Dendoncker had to come over here, and then the same over here with Martinelli, and which meant Neves had to go over here, just to try and do something, just try and get in the way. And because Xhaka then was here, you've got Kilman now, who's got a choice to make. Where does he commit? Well, if he commits, then now Lacazette, who's hanging around here just trying to link up play, has now got space for that through ball. If Cody follows him, now Saka can go one-on-one because Odegaard's holding up Marcel and Dendoncker. What Arsenal were able to do, despite Wolves lining up with 5 and 2, what Arsenal were able to do again and again was make sure that Martinelli and Saka got in on the two outside centre backs. They were able to do it one-on-one, and repeatedly Saka beat both Marcel and Saiss, and repeatedly Martinelli beat Kilman. And it was only a matter of time before Arsenal were going to get a shot in, because in the first half they were able to get the ball here and here again and again, and the ball here and here again and again, and getting the ball and cutting it back in for the likes of Odegaard and Xhaka and Lacazette to get a shot off. In fact, it was from set pieces where exactly this happened. Corner comes in, bounces around the place, comes back out, and then the cross comes in, and Lacazette's able to get in front of Sa, and Gabriel, who is obviously up for the corner, scores. But Arsenal were able to get balls in this area frequently. Like, I'll move him there. Like, we go to foot mob. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shots in the penalty box. Now, you look at it and you go, well, Wolves had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They did the same. But look at our good old friend XG. 15 shots, 0.83 XG. That's not good. Whereas Arsenal, 12 shots, 2.01. Why? Yes, Gabriel's shot, because it was an open goal, counts for, 0.8, which leaves 1.2 for 11 shots. But what Arsenal were able to do, Arsenal were able to get better shots in and around this area here. They were able to get shots away. See here. They're able to get shots away in and get around the box again and again. Whereas these are all headers. These are all like crosses. Because when Arsenal came back, because what Wolves showed was that Wolves are excellent at passing out of a press. I mean, like, bloody good. Like, the amount of times they were able to get past Saka and Lacazette and Martinelli. Now, again, they had an extra man already. But Podence would drop back and Trincao would drop back, and they would get the ball, especially past Martinelli, repeatedly. Because, he's 3-on-1. So he'd press, Kilman would give the ball to Semedo, Martinelli would press Semedo, go to Kilman, he'd go to Kilman, and it'd go to Neves, Xhaka would push back, it'd go to Trincao, and Trincao had the ball here up against Tierney. And the same would happen here, Saiss would give it to Marçal, Saka would press, back to Podence, Odegaard to Dendoncker, and then Podence would run, and then Podence would get the ball here, and Partey would have to cover. And they were able to get the ball in this area plenty of times, just through one-touch passes, one-touch movements, and again they were able to get here. But, as we go back to the heat maps, as you can see, they get the ball here and here. As you can see, on the right, they did nothing. Because Podence would get here, and he'd look up, and there'd be Jimenez. Like that. So he'd go, right, I've got to go inside, I've got to try and create something. And that would mean with Xhaka coming back, and Martinelli coming back, and Odegaard coming back, he's running back into traffic. And as a result, he'd get picked off, and that'd be that. When they'd come down the right, Semedo, who's far more of an attacking threat than Marçal, would often get the ball here. But again, a cross would come in, and it's Gabriel and White against Jimenez, and sometimes Cedric. And again, a cross would come in, and it's 3-on-1. And Liverpool, when Liverpool attack like this, they've got players in like this, because this is the right back. It's not the right wing back. They've got, the right winger, the centre forward, and the left winger all in here. And they've got the best crosser in the world in Trent Alexander-Arnold, who puts it on one of their heads. And it's a goal. Wolves can't do that. Wolves only have Jimenez to aim at. And again, Arsenal basically said, on you go, mate. We don't think you're able to hit Jimenez without at least a bit of trouble caused by our centre backs. And when Trincao tried the same thing, he was worse. He was always trying to put it back post for Podence, but Podence being Podence was running in the centre because he's more of a striker, more of an attacking midfielder than he is a winger. So again and again, Arsenal were able to make Wolves cross the ball in and be prepared for it. And even with 10 men, because, we have to talk about Martinelli. Like, should he have been sent off? No. Did he put himself in a position to get sent off? Yes. Did he do it knowingly? No. Like, the only person who knew that Martinelli was booked when he made the second foul on Trincao, the only person who knew that Martinelli was booked was the referee. And that's the problem. Like if the referee was able to intimate running along to Martinelli that he'd already been booked, he wouldn't have clattered into Trincao for the second foul because he wouldn't have done something so stupid. Martinelli, thinking that it was just advantage, thought that he got away with the first foul and was like, well, look, I'm taking out my frustration on someone, I'm a little bit annoyed. Then clatters into him and says, look, I'll take my yellow, I'm grand. What he didn't realise, and what no one realised, was that the referee in his head had already booked him here. And so when he commits a yellow card foul here, it's in the referee's mind a second yellow. Now, should the referee be giving him a second yellow in the same instance? No. Should Martinelli be committing 2 yellow card fouls in 4 seconds? No. It's one of those ones where, it's only happened to Arsenal, but I don't think it's as egregious as like the David Luiz one, where he brushes against a Wolves player 2 years ago. with his kneecap and gets sent off. I think this is one of those ones where it's like Martinelli, through his inexperience, maybe his exuberance and his desire to put himself out a bit, was he wasn't asking for trouble, but he put the referee in a position where he could get sent off, and it was one of those occasions where the referee decided to take him up on his offer. So it was disappointing to see. Obviously, everyone went mad because it's like, oh yeah, here's another refereeing decision going against Arsenal. But I think that's just one of those ones where it's just bad luck more than referees' incompetence or anything like that. I just think it's one of those things where it's like you'll never see it again because no one will ever put themselves in that position again. Like a precedent has been set, and as a result, either the referee will not do it again or players won't put themselves in a position to do it again. But as we've seen in previous games, Arsenal are more than adept at defending with 10 men. And we put Martinelli in the naughty step there. Saka goes off for the greatest advertisement for hair replacement treatment in 30 years. And Holding basically does a Connor Cody. Holding just sits there. Like, Holding does not move. And when I say he does not move for 20 minutes. He just sits on the penalty spot and goes, I'm not moving. I'm just going to be another lad here. I'm going to make sure that whatever crosses they throw in, it's another man. And it's Xhaka, it's Partey, it's Smith Rowe, and it's 5-3-1. With Lacazette trying to hold the line before he was replaced by Nketiah. But that's it. And then any time Arsenal did get the ball, Smith Rowe would run past. That was it. It was just Arsenal making sure that there was no space, and that if Martial wanted to, come forward occasionally, Kilman, Neves would bomb forward. He would do this. Then Dunker would even get forward a little bit. Podence would come through, but even like that, it's still 5-on-3. Like, Wolves were not throwing men into the box. They were relying on crossing from the wing and hoping to find Jimenez, and they found him once. But because Holding was basically in his pocket, like, Jimenez was only able to get the ball over the bar. Like, Wolves never had a clear-cut opportunity at goal throughout the whole game. And it's just because any time there was space, Arsenal just filled it. And they were just disciplined, and they were compact, and they were well trained. And they just sat there for 20 minutes, basically almost sitting on the ball and going, on you go, lads, try to get through us. And Wolves couldn't. Like I said, it was Mourinho-esque. They just killed the game. 20 minutes to go, 10 men, no bother. Just shut shop. On you go, lads. And that was it. And, they did it against Manchester City for 30 minutes and it almost worked. They did it here for 25 and not a bother on them. Like, for all the talk of, picking up red cards on a regular basis isn't great, at least this team is well drilled enough to deal with it. At least this team can hold on to leads. Something that we were finding out very, very, very rapidly that Manchester United can't do and Tottenham can't do. And if this is a sign of the future, then Arsenal are in a far better position than even the league table might suggest. Because I'm recording this Saturday afternoon at 5:30. Manchester United drawing again at home to Southampton. By the way, thanks Southampton for your last 4 days' work. Greatly appreciated. But, consider this from a month ago when we last spoke. Arsenal now, yes, a point behind, but 2 games in hand. And the next 2 games are Brentford at home and Wolves at home. It's, Tottenham would need to win by 8 to go ahead of Arsenal with their game in hand, and they've lost their last 2. Like, it's West Ham who are, on the same as United and are in just as good form. So, if Arsenal can put together a run of 3 wins, not even, something mad like City are doing. Like, if they can get 3 wins, 4 wins on the spin, they might find themselves 2, 3 points ahead with games in hand. And yes, the games in hand are Chelsea away and Liverpool at home, but if Arsenal can just continue to pick up results like this when others are slipping up, then fourth is on, and all we can do, I suppose, is just hope everyone stays fit. Yes, we'll be missing Martinelli for the next game, but Smith Rowe comes in, will play left wing. It's hard not to be feeling optimistic right now. An optimistic me. It doesn't feel right. I don't know. Maybe I've spent too much time away. Maybe I need to get back in the back in the swing of these things. I can get my negative self back. But if you did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like. If you saw something on Thursday night that I didn't see, that you want to talk about, again, we've got a fantastic community building up of people that enjoy talking about soccer in a informative and respectful manner. And if you want these videos in your inbox on a regular basis, hit subscribe, hit the little bell, and they'll be in your inbox and you'll be notified immediately. And yeah, I'm good. Arsenal are good. Let's hope things will continue this way. Fingers crossed. Cheers.